Hey guys, I want to talk to you a little bit today about a very big topic of concern I think you should have in your lives, and that is specifically who you marry and why you marry and why you get yourself involved in these situations. The reason why I'm bringing this up with you today is I had a work week, just this past week here where I worked the past 4 days with a gentleman that had some real good life experience. He was about 20 years ahead of me in his progression. He was about 60. And for you guys that haven't listened to me before, I'm almost 40. I'll be 40 in a couple months from now. But I was just very fascinated by his life story and his reflections on his love life and what he had been through. He had been married 3 times in the past, and he just had some interesting life stuff to share as a man. And this is the part that I want to pass on to you guys today. We had a very insightful conversation about just his history and all of what he'd been through and everything. But the biggest thing that stuck with me, this is always something that struck me personally throughout my life, that I've always just had this realization, I feel like, inside of me. But to hear it and see it and feel it and listen to the story of what this guy was describing was very moving and very insightful. And this is the only part that I want to pass on to you guys, is the fact that a lot of people in this world, they get married for quote unquote business reasons. Okay, they find a woman that they think is going to be good for quote unquote business. All right, they think they're going to be a good partner financially. They're going to be a stable partner. They're going to be, just somebody that's going to make a good business partner in the game that is life. And that is great. Those are good things. Of course, you want somebody that's going to be a good business partner. Of course, you want somebody that's going to not ruin you in many regards, financially, and just from a stability standpoint and all this kind of stuff. But the glaring thing here that really struck me is about, as he talked about his story, in 2 of his instances, he was completely absent in these situations of any passion, of any love, of any like deep down emotional feelings for the women that he was with in these situations. And it was just a very interesting thing to hear somebody say, that the fact that they would, conceivably think they wanted to make a life with somebody to the point where they wanted to get married to them, be committed to them legally and theoretically religiously, and all this kind of stuff that gets thrown around. We talk about marriage, but at the end of the day, he was never passionately in love with his women. He never had a lust for them. He never had that sort of love and that sort of fascination, that sort of appreciation in those regards for his partners in women. And it's a very striking thing. I think we all know this deep down. There's a lot to be said for this, guys. Okay, don't be one of those people in life that just settles because you think it's good for business, quote unquote, or because you think that society all around you says that it's time to get married, and you need to hold up some sort of front to your family or friends and all this. Honestly, bullshit. That's all fucking bullshit. Okay, you don't need to put up a front for anybody. What you need to do is create a happy space and a happy place for yourself, and a healthy place. Okay, and any relationship that you endeavor to involve yourselves in, just generally romantically, but certainly from a marriage standpoint, you need to have this element of passion. You need to have this love. You need to have this sort of underwriting sort of element there that is way, way, way above and beyond just the business aspect, okay? And it's very easy, and there's so many men in this world, and this is the part that me and this guy really connected on, in regards to our ideologies about what humans go through in life, is that so many people, both males and females, they settle into a relationship, they get into a marriage that's just a quote-unquote, they think it's going to be good for business, and you get a few years down the road and you realize there's no passion there, you realize there's no love there, you realize there's no draw, there's no glue, there's no cohesiveness there that binds you together as human beings, and without that, you're doomed. You're destined for failure, and you're going to go through a lot of years of hurt and pain and shit and agony and probably financial loss and probably all sorts of legal battles and all this kind of stuff that happens in the aftermath, in the wake of a failed marriage. And it's so striking to me, guys. There's so many people that get into the wrong marriages for the wrong reasons. It's insane, the statistics. There's more people that walk the face of this earth, that do that have that life story that don't. And I sincerely seek and I hope for you guys to rise above that, to exist outside of that influence, to get above that shit. Find a woman that you love, okay? That you have love as the underwriting foundation, is the basis of your relationship. You're physically attracted to her. You have that sort of love chemistry going on. I know that things aren't perfect. I know it's hard to find. I know that some people are going to chastise me and say that this is like an impossible thing to find. And I say no. I say fuck that. I say you're lazy, and I say that you're caving into these pressures that society casts upon you and your friends and your family and all this sorts of shit casts upon you. You got to do certain things by a certain time. I don't subscribe to that, guys. And I hope for every one of you gentlemen that listens to this channel, you ladies too, that you don't buy into that. You hold out. You find that situation that has that elemental force that is love at the foundation and at the center point of your relationship, whatever you get yourself involved with, because I've heard these stories time and time again. I've heard so many of these similar to what this guy was describing me, that I worked with this week. And it's sad. And I think it's unnecessary. I think it's certainly part of a learning curve and experience for probably a lot of humans on this earth to go through this and walk through this path and figure out this is not the way. But I hope for you guys that you can kind of see early on before you get yourself in one of these situations, or even if you're starting to go down that path, you can identify like, hey, is this just a business relationship, or is this a real love that I have, or is there passion here? Am I attracted physically to my girl? Do I have this sort of emotional, like deep down feeling about her? Okay. Or is this simply purely born out of external things? Okay. Financial, life, time clock, biological stuff, society, friends, family, all these sorts of influences. Guys, hold strong, hold fort. Do not cave to those things. If you do, it's probably going to end up bad. And even if it doesn't end up bad, even if you hold it together, you're going to go through your life with a partner that you don't have that sort of chemical, magical, amazing love bond with, okay? And that in and of itself, I think, is a torture in a different way, in a different fashion. And I think that's a real thing. I think that's something you need to key on. I hope you guys have the strength of mind to look at things like this. I hope you have the wherewithal to analyze your lives and apply this in your being, in your existence, and not cave in, guys, okay? Hold out. This is a very real thing. If you don't believe me, you go out and find people in your community that are older, and I want you to ask them about their experience with marriage, and I want you to analyze their situation. I want you to look at their lives and talk to them about their stories and see where their failures were and their faults were, and gather your own perspective if you don't want to believe me. But this is every single thing that at this point in life, at 40 years old almost, this is everything I've seen, I've experienced, I've felt. All this stuff collectively is part of this message today, guys, okay? I hope that makes sense to you. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Talk to you real soon.